Hello, my Teaserking family. Merry Christmas to you today. Everything's well. Heard from all my girls. They're fine. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas. I found these gifts on WhatsApp if you're looking to get some nice, whatever a gift is. Coffee ready? 1 second. So, what's happening in everybody's world? I hope it's okay. Just remember to buy your gold. You'll be fine. No gym today. It's closed. I don't know why they close on Christmas. I mean, I get the employees are working, but so you give them a bonus. But that's what I'm paying for, right? I'm paying to use the club to swim and everything. So we got 3 football games today. Let's review yesterday's first. Well, thank you, Alex. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, the Jets. I don't know where you're picking these out of, but the Jets did go over. So my lock of the day was Dallas plus the 7.5 against Miami, and I tied on the over. I had over 42 when Tyreek Hill was playing. I had 48-42. But the big bet, I had it 3 times, was Dallas. I have it with the game today in a lock. They look terrible. Dak Prescott's terrible. I mean, Jesus Christ. The fumble in the beginning is his fault. What is he doing? He doesn't even have possession, and they're giving it to the fullback. I don't understand the play calls. And the ones I love is the throw to the wide receiver, and he loses 3 yards because they're throwing a sideways pass instead of downfield pass. That one really bothers me because it's just stupid. Everybody knows what you're doing. It never works, and you lose 3 yards. These offensive coordinators are horrible. So let's go through it. Atlanta, Indy. Atlanta lane 3 wins 29-10. Todd picked Indy in the points. That was his lock. This is why we don't watch Todd's things, how you lock that game. But 29-10, Atlanta. I hit a 17 teaser with Patriots, Bucks, Commanders, Jets over, Arizona over, Titans, and Titans under. That's an interesting one. So you didn't play the Dallas, the best game on the board. You played all these strange ones. New England. Okay, the Bucks, yeah, with Lawrence. The Commanders against the Jets and the Jets over. That's a strange one. Arizona over. Why the Bears over? Tennessee and Tennessee under. I had Tennessee. I had Seattle over in one. So what did you have? You pushed on Tennessee. Tennessee was getting 3, so you hit 20-17. So you pushed, and the Titans under. Yeah, that would have been 47. So you got that, but yeah, it was Tannehill. I would have played that. Would you play Tampa because Lawrence was playing? You had a 7-point teaser. Okay, so you don't win as much, but that's good. So good for you, Alex. Today there's only 3, and I got all 3 picked heavily. We'll get to that in a minute. I can't believe you didn't play Detroit over. That's shocking to me. That was the best bet on the board. I did have Detroit over 3 times. I like Minnesota plus the 9, but I like the over more. It's what the Lions do. They score a lot and they have no defense. After watching Miami and Dallas, Detroit's in big trouble. They don't have a secondary and they don't have a defense. They don't pressure the quarterback. And you watch at Dallas, they're going to get killed. Dallas is just terrible. It's the worst coach team I've ever seen. Dak Prescott's absolutely horrible. They throw to CeeDee Lamb in the first quarter, and then he never saw the ball again. Great coaching there. Why didn't they run the play that he scored a touchdown on again? We have the Jets 3, win 30-28. I didn't see where this came from. Simeon. Okay, if Simeon's this good, why isn't he their starter? Here's my problem. You've got Simeon putting up all these points. Why wasn't he their starter? You have Brissett, who keeps coming in off the bench. That's what's saving you with that game was Brissett. Why isn't he starting? You have Rudolph at Pittsburgh putting up 34 points. Why isn't he starting? I don't understand any of this. It's incredibly bad coaching. Stick looks pretty good against Buffalo. Okay. I can see Herbert starting. Minshew, what happened to him yet? That was a strange one. That was almost like a fix because Indy went from 1 to +1, and then it went to 2, and then it went to 3. There was no reason for it. Atlanta wins 29-10, almost like the game was fixed in my estimation, because there was no reason for the line movement. Seattle comes in 20-17. Tannehill should have been the starter anyway. Goff and Mullins. Mullins looked terrible. 4 touchdowns, and they were really stupid ones. Then he'd make these great throws to Jefferson, made some incredible catches. I would just throw the ball to Jefferson every play, and he'd find a way to get open and make the catch. But, I mean, he throws for 400 yards but 4 interceptions. So what do you want? 400 or the 4 picks. And they shouldn't have lost to the Lions. They did. It's like I said, Simeon and Bissett were better than Howell and Wilson. Love and Young, Green Bay's shit. They give up 300 yards to Steve Young. Are you kidding? And they were up like 30-14, and then Carolina got 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions. Where's Green Bay's defense? And for Love to get 33 against a 25 Z team is not – I like Green Bay, but when they had all the injuries, I didn't play them, but they ended up winning anyway. I made it a point to play the not-so-obvious picks. Seemed like a contrary weekend to me. Yeah, obviously. I didn't touch the Jet game. I didn't know how to play it. Washington with the Z team with the 30 defense, and the Jets scored 30. Now, how do you bet on Simeon? I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense, betting the third-string quarterback, but they had 21 points in the first half, I think. Let's see. Then we got Cleveland, Houston. Cleveland 36-22. Flacco against Keenum. Flacco really lights it up. I don't know why I have Cleveland still marked as an under team when they've been scoring with Flacco. I have to do a Flacco trend. I didn't play I have the under circled under 45. That was nowhere near. 221 defenses and Keenum and for Stroud, and it's 36-22. Interesting. Jacksonville, Tampa. I love seeing Jacksonville lose. Trevor Lawrence. I had the over in the game, over 43, so I went over 37. Got there easy, 30-12 Tampa. Now they're saying how good Mayfield is. I was watching the game a little bit during commercials. I don't think the Browns are an under team anymore. Yeah, I don't know. They still have that strong defense, but their offense, see, Flacco changes the offense. I mean, Deshaun Watson was terrible. Thompson Robinson hadn't played before, so they weren't scoring. Maybe not. I got to look at the last 4 or 5 Flacco games. And it was at Houston, so I thought Houston's defense was good, but I didn't this is I had Cleveland circled and I had the under circled, but I didn't really care for the game. Jacksonville, Tampa. If Lawrence didn't play, I would have probably went under and or that. So when he played, I went over. I didn't like Jacksonville as a road favorite. You got to watch these road favorites. The Bears and the Arizona, I love the over. I had the over 42, so I went over 36. Chicago's just, they score. I don't know how they score, but they score. And I knew Murray would get me something. And I got a 43. I needed 36. Anything in the 30s with Chicago is a joke. Dallas, Miami, as I said, I had Dallas. That was the big lock of the day, the free pick. What were they doing that first drive? The fumble at the 1 was all Prescott. He's such a bad quarterback. Then the lucky throw at the end to whoever. How they only scored 20 on this crap Miami defense is something I don't understand. They put a lot of pressure on Tagovailoa. But I like what they did at the end. They rushed him and he went back and they just sacked the hell out of him. But they didn't do enough of that. I don't know. Miami showed me. I don't know if they have a good defense or Dallas just sucks that much. So I had, again, I can't believe the spread stayed Miami -1.5, but I took the touchdown with Dallas, never worried about it. A lot of field goals in a game that should never have had any field goals. But Dallas does have that strong defense, the 19 defense, and that's why I took Dallas and not the over. New England, Denver, what the fuck happened there? I lose because New England kicks off, scores a touchdown, kicks off. I didn't see the play. The guy doesn't fair catch it, and the ball's there, and it ends up being a touchdown for New England on a kickoff that I don't understand because none of them count. They're all fair catches. So I cannot understand what the hell happened, but that's why I lost, because of the touchdown. And then they kick a field goal at the end. Why is New England getting 26 on Denver? And where was Russell Wilson the whole first half? Hey, Greg and John. I don't think they're out of the playoffs quite yet, but yeah, maybe they are. They got 7 wins. I think 9 can get them in, but there's a lot of 8s and a few 9s. So yeah, Denver. Their defense. I mean, what's with the 20? Well, again, yeah, touchdown there. So it was really 23. It was really 23-17 is what the score should have been, but oh well. So that's yesterday. So we lose to Denver. We crush with Dallas. We hit it 3 times. Hit the Bears over. Hit Tampa over. Hit the Detroit game over 3 times. Hit Seattle over. I got lucky there. I needed that last field goal. They started scoring near the end, and I got my over 35. And that was it. So I had a great day, except for the Denver game. And lost on Buffalo on Saturday, won on the Rams over on Thursday. And we got 3 more fucking games today. It never ends. Soon they'll have it 7 days a week. All right, Alex, I'm sort of shocked that my Texans are even sniffing the playoffs after how bad they've been the last few years. CJ Stroud is back next week. CJ Stroud's he's like, I don't know. Is he that good? He throws for a lot of yards. Doesn't have a lot of interceptions, but he doesn't have a lot of touchdowns either. I don't know. I mean, they need some receivers for him. They need a running game for him above all else. That's really the key to what they need. You need balance. You watch Missouri against Ohio State. They got a great runner. And Cook, a good passer. I won't be surprised if Missouri wins. I'm not sure that Ohio State minds the Devin Brown instead of the other guy. We will see. I fucked up my sloppy Joe last night. So I make it, I mix it, and you're supposed to put in like 3.5 cups of water. I put in 3.5 cups of water, but I put in tomato sauce because they didn't have tomato paste at the fucking grocery store, if you can believe that. So I put in my 3 cans of tomato sauce, but it's sauce, so it's liquid. And if I put in that, I shouldn't put in as much water. So I make it, and I still got this much water on the top. I'm like, fuck. Now, the meat tasted good, but I couldn't believe the water, too much water. I've never seen that before. I thought I've used tomato sauce. Anyway, so now it should be good today. I dumped the water out. Now they have games on Peacock and on Amazon Prime. What a joke that is. Well, this is where we need to, we go to economics and we say, if there's no market, they can't do it. So in other words, if nobody buys and nobody's on that, and they get no viewers, they won't do it. So it's like going to Germany. So when I'm in Berlin and I'm talking to the guy at the hotel, and I says, it was Sunday, and I said, can you put on the American football? No, I don't think so. Nobody here's interested in it. We all watch soccer. And I'm thinking, then why does the NFL go to Frankfurt or Munich, wherever the hell they're going, to have games on if there's no interest in it? So you need markets, and I agree with you, Gregor John. I will not pay for it. I will not get it. I have no interest. I'll just turn on YouTube and watch the Denver highlights today. Now, today's game, I believe, are all on ABC, NBC, CBS, so I don't think we'll have a problem. I think it's stupid because you always want people watching your product, and you don't want to make it hard for them to watch it. So everybody watching, everybody like us not watching Peacock or Prime or the NFL Network, it really costs them a lot of money because we're watching something else. We still have our bets. We still can check, Yahoo and see the score, but I don't need to watch the game and watch the 5 minutes for a review. And my God, is the refereeing terrible? Oh my God, who was it? The Dallas game. The refs were terrible in the game. See, put it like this. This is my point. So you're in the car and you're speeding a little bit. The speed limit's 40 and you're going 42. Should you get a speeding ticket? Well, you are speeding, but you'll never get a ticket 2 over. The cops do 10 over. They don't do 2 over. There's no, yeah, we know you're going over, but if we gave a ticket to everybody going 2 over, it'd be a waste of time. And that's the problem with the NFL. They went from defensive pass interference to offensive holding and offsides down. And you can justify it, and the idiot Chris Collinsworth and all those idiots, Tony Blomo and Aikman and Collinsworth, they can all sit there and say, yeah, look, his foot was on the line. Believe me, when they were playing, they would never make that call. And if they did, they'd be all over the ref. Jimmy Johnson would roast the ref if he called offsides on a guy who's 2 inches on the line. I think it's ridiculous that Alex, he's a rookie and he competes. He's learning but doing well for a rookie. I think you're talking about Stroud. I like Ohio State in that game, maybe the under. You haven't watched Missouri, I guess. Missouri is a real good team. We'll see. We'll see if they even play. Harrison, he might not play. Running back, I don't know. I don't know why they're all playing. Makes no sense to me. But Missouri's got an excellent team. So what's happening is you're giving speeding tickets away for 2 over, which is a joke. And in the NFL, they're calling all these offsides that are ridiculous. The one in Kansas City, the one yesterday. It's a ridiculous thing to do. Or the offensive holding. My God, they're not even holding. Or, they go to block and they grab them. That's legal. That's what they do. I mean, how do you want the offensive lineman to play? The call on Micah Parsons, he pushed the quarterback down. They called the quarterback, roughing the quarterback. I was like, are you out of your fucking minds? What do you want Micah Parsons to do in that situation? Just, why don't we put flags in the quarterback's pocket and let him pull the flag? Then they won't hit him. I mean, this is absolutely stupid. You want to watch the hit, and you can't watch. I can't watch when the guy pushes somebody and they call roughing the quarterback, especially on Micah Parsons. That'd be like Michael Jordan going to the lane, and they call an offensive penalty on him. I can't think of the word, but this is insane. This is unwatchable. The refs are killing the game. The call on Parsons. The interference at the end was interference. The holding penalty was a joke. And it's not only that, it's when they call it, right? They get a 10-yard run, they're down to the 5, and they call holding. And now you kill all the momentum, you kill the whole game, and it's just retarded. So they're not going to have anybody watching. We'll just bet the games, and we'll just wait for YouTube 3 hours later to watch what happened. It's unwatchable. All the penalties, all the refs are too stupid, so they don't call anything on the quarterback. Is it a fumble or an incompletion? Dude, you're on the field. Fucking call what you see. If the guy has a fumble, it's a fumble. But if it's an incompletion, you're wasting all this time. The guy's picking it up and running 60 yards back for a touchdown he thinks he has. What the fuck are you doing? You can't. You're right there. Blow your whistle. You're the referee. Well, we're not supposed to. We're supposed to let instant replay do it. No, instant replay is if it's something that we're not sure of, and it should be 5 seconds. It should be, yep, he's inbounds or he's not. If you can't tell in 5 seconds, whatever the ref calls, who's standing 2 feet away, should make the call. Alex, I watched a lot of Missouri, but Ohio State will be angry after a loss, and they are packed with NFL caliber talent. Well, I thought they'd be angry after losing to Michigan twice in a row, but they didn't really play that way, did they? Josh Jacobs is out today. Yeah, I thought he was questionable. That's probably why the line's 10, but I'm going a different route. I'm not going either team. So, well, do you think Missouri's not going to be angry? And the difference is Missouri's playing their star running back and their star quarterback. Ohio State doesn't have their quarterback. Not that he was any good. Now the question is, this Devin Brown guy, if he's so good, why wasn't he starting? That's my bitch with these coaches. If the backups are so good, and I said that with Van Dyke and Rising when they came in, why the fuck weren't you starting these guys? What are you looking at? All right, let's go through today's games. So, Kansas City looking to they're looking to catch Baltimore and Miami, so they must win. Denver lost, so I think they clinched the division, but they're still looking for the 1 seed. Are they off of a loss? No, they beat New England. See, they beat New England. Denver lost to them. That's the difference. So we've got Kansas City 10.5, 40.5. And there's only one way to play this game. Philly 13.5, 42.5. Now that Dallas lost, Now that Dallas lost, Philly wins. I don't think they clinch because they only have a 1-game lead with 2 games left. But Philly's on a 3-game losing streak. They're going to murder them. 45-7's my score. KC, I got 20-3 with Jacobs playing. Maybe they'll bring in that guy I love from UTSA, Sincere McCormick, who's the best running back in the league, but for some reason Oakland doesn't seem to play him. And they wonder why they've won 3 games. Philly's going to take it out on the Giants. You're going to punish the Z team because of that, of the 3-game losing streak, and they need it to win their division. They must win the game. And then we got the Niners 6 and 46.5, up from 5.5. The total stayed 31-24 at least for the Niners. I think they might score more. Baltimore plays a lot of over games. The problem with these teams is when you play, when you pay your quarterback so much, you don't have any money left for the defense and the other player positions. Let's go. NFL starting lineups, week 16. Contrary weekend continues. Watch out for the dogs today. That's fine with me. I didn't play any dogs. I didn't play any favorites. So let's see. Oakland, Zamir White will be the running back. Devontae Adams, Myers, Renfro, O'Connell, Mahomes, Pacheco, Rice, Watson, Valdez, Scantling, and Kelsey. So everybody's healthy here. Your inactives for KC, defensive tackle, I don't know. Defensive tackle, defensive end, cornerback, O-tackle, defensive end, and Tony, the wide receiver. So I don't know any of them. Inactives for Oakland, a center, a tight end, Brian Hoyer. What's he doing on the team? Josh Jacobs, Meyer, the tight end, Parker, an O-tackle, and Young, a D-tackle. And again, it's 10% chance of rain. See, this is what I don't like about this site. The site gives you the weather, but it's today's weather. So I'm looking at it, it's going to be rain and everything. And then I look today, and it's 36 and 10% rain. Well, that's what should be on here the whole time, not 50% rain, 15-mile-an-hour wind, which is good. So, again, KC 10.5, 40.5. They really don't need the game, but they do. I think they'll play well because it's KC and Mahomes, and I don't know. I got 20-3. I don't see Oakland scoring much because I love KC's defense. Giants and Philly. DeVito, is he any good? I don't know. Looked good against Green Bay, but then so did Steve Young look good against Green Bay. Maybe Green Bay doesn't have a good defense. See, this is another thing where Green Bay's got a 22 defense, but I gotta. Here's where it's a good thing we got Christmas, so I can look like last 5 and then redo it. Like the Lions, they're really not a 24 defense. They're about a 29 defense, and they looked at yesterday. Minnie, I wonder if they're a 19 defense anymore. Cleveland is a 21, but Houston looks like they're not. Let's see where it really changed. That's amazing. Like Atlanta, Indy's a 25 defense. Atlanta put up 29 on them. Cincinnati's a 22, Pitt put up 34, and LA put up 30 on New Orleans is 19. And again, these are the whole year, and you need to understand injuries and you need to break it apart a little bit. So I got to do that. So Philly's healthy and off of a 3-game losing streak and at home. They beat the Giants 10 times in a row. It's a big number, 14. Danny DeVito, if he looks like he did against Philly, against New Orleans, he's in big trouble. Philly's going to put up 40 on him. The Giants have a 24 defense. The only concern I have here is Philly has a 25 defense. But can Danny DeVito take advantage of their weak defense? I don't know. And then our last game, Baltimore and the Niners. Zay Flowers questionable for Baltimore. Everybody's going for our Niners. Well, I don't know about that. They got Ronnie Bell now as a receiver. I don't think he was. So the guy who was is inactive, I guess. But I got Purdy, McCaffrey, Samuel, Kittle. I'm a happy boy. Lamar's going to have big trouble today with this defense. And I'm going to love every second of it. Frisco 6. It's about right for a Baltimore game. Over under a 47. 0 chance of rain and a 3-mile-an-hour wind. So it's very calm in San Francisco. Okay. So who needs to win today? Philadelphia. Three losses in a row. They're going to be on fire. You talk about Ohio State, Alex, being on fire. Well, look at Philadelphia. You want to play the Giants? Be my guest. Frisco and Baltimore are playing for the 1 seed. Dallas losing helps them. If Philly loses, then Frisco will really win because then they clinch it. Baltimore's struggling with Miami, and then if KC wins. So it's been a weird week. San Diego played Buffalo good, but this is why Buffalo's struggling. I wish they would have lost. I hate when they win by a field goal. Lose, then I can bet them next week. But Buffalo's got Miami next week. So we got 2 games to go after these 3 games. Like I said, they're on normal TV. So pretty much let's see, teaser trends today. Oakland is a teaser trend against KC. Because KC's always laying 10 points, winning by 7, they don't cover. So, yeah, Alex, maybe Oakland in 16 covers, but good luck with that. Philly is very strong as a home favorite. Giants have no trend at all. And you can't even trend it because of DeVito. He's played, 3 games? And then Lamar and Purdy, huge trend on the Niners as a home favorite also. So I think the Niners win. I don't really think there's an issue there. Philly, huge. And KC wins by, 7 to 10 points, because they're just not scoring because they don't have receivers. It's amazing how they don't have receivers with Mahomes. That's the ironic part with Tagliavua. They give him all the receivers, and everybody's look how good he is. Look how good he is. Bullshit. When they needed him yesterday, he didn't show up. All he does is throw a little swing to Tyreek Hill, who busted for 15 yards. And then you look at Tagliavua's stats, and you go, oh, my God, look at it. He threw for 190 yards. No, he threw a 5-yard pass to Tyreek Hill, who ran 50 with it. I thought Dallas needed to put more pressure on Micah Parsons. Again, that terrible. What's he supposed to do? You want to intimidate. How the hell would Jack Tatum play in this league? You got to be kidding me. He'd lay out a receiver. He'd lay out Lynn Swann, and the guy would never play again. It's a joke, this league. We don't want to get anybody hurt. You got of your 32 quarterbacks, you got 5 regular quarterbacks? It's really a joke because you watch football for the hitting too. We want the scoring. We want the hitting. We don't want go for 4th down. We don't want go for 2 bullshit in the game unless it's must at the end or down, 2 points. They need the 2 to tie it. Okay, yeah, I understand that. So I don't know. I don't even know who San Diego's coach is. This stick is a big game. But again, Buffalo with an 18 defense, and they give up 22 to stick, but they give up 400 yards passing to the guy. Finally, at the end, they put some pressure on him. I think it's terrible coaching. I think it's terrible offense and defensive coordinators. They all run a little pass to the side to the wide receiver for 5 yards. It's a sideways pass, and the guy never gains any yards because everybody knows what the play is, and everybody runs the same fucking play. It works for Tyreek Hill because he's so quick, but unless you have a guy like Tyreek Hill, they're not going to work. So Greg and John, where's Bobby Bo been all week? I haven't gotten one Merry Christmas from Bobby Bo. I'm a little bit disturbed by that. Where the hell could the guy be? Maybe he traveled or something. Anyway. Let's see. So we got 2 weeks left of pros. I'll write in next week's games while I'm watching the Oakland KC game. And I can't update my stats because I got 6 teams to update. So I can't. And then I'm going to dig into the last 5 or 6 weeks and get a real defensive number, right? So, is New Orleans really a 19 defense? What's going on? And try to get a good handle on, Dallas and Miami. What's Miami against shitty teams? These guys must be listening because I saw that yesterday. Well, Dallas and Miami against good teams are 1-3. And that's all I say is there's so many bad teams in the league. Like the Lions. I get it from Michigan and the Lions where they played nobody. Everybody says how great they are, and they're like, well, who have they beaten? Especially Michigan. They haven't beaten anybody. I'm sorry, Alex. Ohio State was angry. They lost 2 years in a row to them, and they still got killed. Being angry doesn't give you a win, but I think Missouri's a better team. I'll take them. Ohio State's got talent. Maybe an under, but Missouri really scores. They got a good quarterback and a good running back. So we will see. But we're waiting for fucking Bama to plow Michigan. And we're getting 7 points tomorrow. We'll get back into the balls tomorrow. It's a headache. It's who's playing, who's going to the draft, who's and then you get the transfer portal, but you don't even know if they're playing or not. Like James Madison, Air Force. What the fuck was that all about? The whole team's transfer portal, and then the whole team plays. McCall throws for 3 touchdowns, and he fucks my under because he's playing, and it says he's not. I don't know. These bowl games are a nightmare. So let's see. What else? Look, for Seattle's pretty hot. They've been. I didn't see the game. I know they scored late. I don't know what happened. I got to watch the highlights on YouTube. Detroit Mini was exactly what I thought. I was hoping Mini would have won at the end. So Detroit clinches. Now they got Dallas next week. They should get murdered, but Dak Prescott, but Micah Parsons will murder them. He's too much for them to handle, and then their defense won't handle Dallas at home. That one. Now, are they playing for the 1 seed? Carolina, what were they doing yesterday? They got to be playing for the 1 seed. They shouldn't even be scoring on Green Bay. So what does a team like Green Bay do for the draft? You've got Love. Carolina's got Young. So what are these teams doing? You could have Caleb, Penix, and Bo Nix and Hartman, and you got your 2 clowns. What are you doing? You got to trade them if anybody wants them, but I don't think anybody wants Love or Young. I wouldn't want them. If I was a GM and you offered me Young, I'd say send him back to Alabama. He sucks. But that's me. I'd rather have Hartman than Young all day. And then why is Drake May getting so much attention? He's not a very good quarterback for North Carolina. They didn't do shit. He didn't do anything. Why is everybody so high on him? See, I love this. Oh, did he go to the Peyton Manning camp? Is that why? Like Daniel Jones of the Giants, they drafted him because he went to the Peyton Manning camp. Yeah, look how that turned out. You're paying $50 million for a guy who's a fourth-string quarterback in college. Unbelievable. Anyway, so we will see. Miami's defense looked pretty good, but Dallas helped them out with terrible play calling. So today, I think KC, Philly, and Frisco, I think the home teams win. Philly's the one that really needs to win after 3 losses. And the spread's, a little bit high, I think, because of their defense. The best team's the Niners. KC really doesn't have offense, and Philly really doesn't have a defense. And then Frisco has got both. So they're the best team. They'll win the Super Bowl. I don't see how they won't. So what else? Free play, Alabama. Free play yesterday was Dallas, which should have won the game, but covered for us, getting 7.5. Today, no free play. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get 3 games today is a bit much. We'll start looking at next week. I'll start looking at it now, and then, we got to fill in the blanks with the 3 games today. All right. Lucky I'm efficient, so I can figure these things out in 2 hours. I get next week's games and picks, and then it's up to the injuries. The injuries are really killing me, like Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. Does he have a concussion? He doesn't look like he's got an ankle sprain, but he looks like he sucks, which he does. Tampa killed you. So now I'm wondering about Jacksonville's defense, giving up 30 to Tampa. And then they're trying to say how good Mayfield is, and they're trying to say how good the coach is, and the coach sucks, and Mayfield sucks. Again, you've got Trask, who should be playing, and what to do. So anyway, the Z teams are the problem. Washington has Howell and Brissett. They need a quarterback. Carolina doesn't need a quarterback. This is really interesting. Neither does Arizona. They got Murray. New England definitely needs one. And the Giants, what are they going to do? They've signed Daniel Jones to a 5-year, $50 million contract. Shows you they don't know what they're doing. I don't get that. We watch and we see Daniel Jones and he sucks. And they give him $50 million. Like, are you not watching the same games we're watching with the same teams and the guy sucks? Are you not seeing that he sucks? Like the Pistons here, they've lost 26, 27 games in a row. And everybody's bitching about the owner to sell the team. Well, why should the owner sell the team? If the product's no good, why buy it? Why are you going to the games? And if the owner doesn't care that his team's a joke, he doesn't have to sell because it's his money, right? I fucked up my sloppy joes. What am I going to do? So I spilt the water out, and then I'll eat it. It's pretty much the water's empty, so now it tastes fine. I'll eat it. But if you don't like the product, that's why I don't understand these Lions fans. The Lions have sucked since 1957. They had Barry Sanders. They had a couple of good years. Calvin Johnson was a mistake. He happened to be good. They haven't had a quarterback. Well, Stafford was okay, but not great. And They basically suck. They don't sign their players like Chris Spielman and Darius Slay and all these guys. They sign them to the first contract because they're cheap, and then as soon as they're going to cost them money, they let them go. And basically, I don't know why anybody roots for him here. I don't like, because I'm in Detroit, I got to root for Detroit. I never root for Detroit. I took the over yesterday, but I wasn't going to root for that. I was hoping they lost. But I don't get these people. Like, why are you fans? You're a Piston fan because you live in Detroit. I mean, the owner doesn't give a shit, clearly. But you can't ask the owner to sell the team. It's like somebody coming up to you and saying, well, I want you to sell your house. Well, fuck you. I'm not going to sell my house. Yeah, you got weeds in the lawn. Well, that's too bad. It's my house. I'm going to do what I want. It's his team. He makes a lot of money on the TV, so it's a moneymaker for him, even if they don't win a game. He doesn't want to sign good talent because he doesn't want to pay. He figures, I make the same amount of money, and this is the Lions strategy. We make the same amount of money if we win or lose, and why pay money to the players? We'll keep the money. That's the Ford mentality, and why you would root for people like that, I have no idea. And then I hear on the radio how everybody loves the GM. What does the GM do? What has he done? I don't know. And then they try to make this Jameson Williams good. He sucks. I never seen a guy scared to catch a pass. He's okay as an 8th round draft pick. He's not a 1st round draft pick. But anyway, I just don't see. I don't get. Well, people are most of them are sheeps, you know. So, Oakland, KC. I got KC 20-3. They're laying 10.5 and 41. Philly, the Giants. Philly 14, 42.5. I got Philly 45-7. Frisco, Baltimore. I got Frisco -6, 46.5. I got Frisco 31-24. Those are my plays today, boys and girls. I was watching Madoff and Attack on Wall Street, all my Christmas movies, and it's just, again, if nobody bought into Madoff, he wouldn't be able to Ponzi scheme you. People let all this shit happen. So if you really think about Madoff, what did he do? Here's $100,000, and he says, okay, he gets money from other people and pays you 10% or 15%, whatever. I think it's 15%. So you're getting $15,000 a year from Madoff. Now, how is that any different from an annuity or a CD at the bank? Even a bond. How is that any different? Let's look at an annuity. What is it? It's the bank. Here's 50,000, and they're going to give you 9% a year. Where are they getting the money from? They're not investing it. They're getting it from other people putting their money in the bank. Wait a minute. That's a Ponzi scheme. What's the difference? Nothing. So it's okay if the bank Ponzi schemes you. It's okay. But if Madoff does it, it's not. And if the bank goes under, so you got money in the bank and the bank's going to go under, what are you going to do? Are you going to cry and yell at the bank? The bank scammed me. The bank Madoff me. No. You don't even understand it. You're supposed to get your money out of the bank. So anything that happens to you, you've been warned, get the money the fuck out of the bank. The banks are collapsing. The money's collapsing. It's all going to be a Madoff. But the bank and Madoff are the same. They get other people's money and pay you your money. So everything the bank does is a Ponzi scheme. They're not investing the money. Even if you put $100,000 in and you're getting 5% interest on a CD, how are they paying you? Not with your money. Unless they can get 5% on a T-bill, which, okay, because they've invested maybe, but I don't even think they can do that now. The interest rates are so high, they can't do that because it costs them If it's 5% for a T-bill, means they only get $70, let's say, on their CDs or on the T-bills. That's not enough to give you your money. So where are they getting the money? They're printing it. How's that different than Madoff? Or Bobby's putting money into my bank and they're giving me Bobby's money, or vice versa. I mean, that's really what is happening. Is it's all a Ponzi scheme. If they, had Madoff invested the money in one, would it have been different? So if he bought Microsoft and Apple and IBM, would that have made it a legitimate transaction instead of a Ponzi scheme? I don't know. I don't know the way it works. I guess the Ponzi scheme's taking other people's money to pay you. If that's the case, then yeah, it would have been more legitimate, but then there would have been more risk that if he actually invested, he would have lost. So especially with the market crashing a couple times. But so there's no difference between what the government does and Madoff does. The difference is the government prints the money to zero. So when it's worth nothing, you're going to be fucked because it won't have a value. Now what do you do? So that's the big problem, is people don't get. See, if you put your money in the bank and you get the 9%, you don't ask where it's coming from or what they're investing in. You don't care as long as you get the 9%. This is why it's hard when I suggest gold, because where are you going to get the money from? There's no investment. You're not getting 9% back on the gold. One day it's 2,000, the next day it's 10,000. And in the middle, it's sitting there at like now 2,100. They're closed today, but I don't think they are. I mean, I don't know if they're closed in Europe and in Asia. But so what you have is gold's 20,000, or I think it's 2060, let's say 2060, in paper land, not in real world physical supply demand market, like our Mahomes card, right? This is a physical real market for this card. I offer it, somebody buys it. There's no interruptions by the government. Gold's interrupted. So if we follow this up, you're not getting dividends in gold. The gold price goes up and down. You don't know why. You think there's no who wants gold, and they paint the picture. If you go to your broker, if you go to your financial professionals who are not professionals, a bunch of Ponzi scheme scam artists, they're all Madoffs. If you go to them, they won't tell you to buy gold because they don't get commission on it. Attack on Wall Street. I love using this. The guy goes and the guy puts him in a real estate trust. Why? Because he gets commission. Not because the guy, he wants him to make money with the 60 grand. He gets it because he gets commission. He doesn't care about you. So you're never going to hear any of these guys tell you to buy gold, because they don't get commission on gold. Because gold's its own entity. It's not in paper. It's not a stock. I don't know who pays the commission. Well, I guess the Goldman Sachs pays the commission to the guy, and they must get a cut. So if I buy 1,000 shares of Coca-Cola from Goldman Sachs, they give the guy commission. So I don't know where they're making their money. Why would they make money if I buy 1,000 shares of Coca-Cola? Who's paying them? So somebody's paying them for the money. I don't know that they're making money because we lose. Maybe they're bookies. So if you lose the football bet, right? You lose with Denver last night, the bookie makes money on the losses and gives money to the winners. I don't know if that's the way that the Merrill Lynch and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, when you buy and sell stocks, does the losers pay for the winners? This I don't know. I don't know where they're getting their money, because I'm not giving them money. I'm buying 1,000 shares of $40 stock. It's $40,000. It all goes from my account in, and then I get the shares, and I don't pay any. I pay a $3 commission on it. So I don't know what is going on where Goldman Sachs is making money on my transaction, or Morgan Stanley, or whoever. But that's what you have in the Ponzi scheme world of the banks. It's just where are they paying you the 5% with? Theoretically, they should be investing the money and paying you. So if I got 100 grand in a bank and they pay me 5%, they have to take my money and make 8% on it. 5 of the 8, and they keep the 3. That's how a bank works. Or they lend you money for a car or a house, and then they charge you interest, and then they keep that, and then some of it goes to you. That's how a bank works. They're not doing a lot of mortgages now, I guarantee you that, or car payments. But that's really where they mix. So they take your money and invest it. And I don't know how that's different from a Ponzi scheme. But when they fuck up and they invest in real estate and the real estate blows up, they get bailed out. What kind of fucked up model is that? They get bailed out because they fucked up. Unbelievable. That's what happened in 2008. They fuck up. Oh wait, let's bail you out. So we're gonna print money and give it to you because they're the ones in charge. So the Madoff Ponzi scheme was getting more money from individuals who wanted to get in on the scam, and then they would take their money to give to you. So they didn't invest the money; they got new players. And I don't see how the banks are any. They just print money, so they don't even go after people. They just print us some more money. We got to pay this much out. But nobody cares. Nobody is. People go with it because they trust the bank, or they get the little bit of interest every month, so they're happy with it. And so when you look at gold, no, you don't get 3%, 5% a month, but you don't lose money in it either. And that's what nobody understands in the banking systems. They lose money. The money, you got 100 grand in there and you're getting 4%, let's say in a CD, and you've seen the 4% hit your account and you're all happy. Oh, look at my dividends. Oh, I can retire now. But what you don't see is the money losing value, and your 100 grand cannot buy what it used to. So now it's really worth 80 grand. So you're getting 4% and losing 20%. You're losing 16% by keeping your money in the bank. Only you don't see the 100 grand only worth 80 grand. This is where the Ponzi scheme takes place. Because they're printing money, they are making the money worth less. This is the whole inflation bullshit by the government. So you're sitting there with the 100 grand. The last thing you think is it's not worth 100. It isn't. That's what inflation does. It makes the 100 worth less. So you get your 4%, but your initial investment is lost 20, and then it's lost 20 more. So you walk out going, oh, I got 100 grand, and then you go and you try to buy something, and you realize, well, shit, the car costs 35,000 now. I paid 24 for the Camrys, now 35. Groceries, good luck buying, Coca-Cola for $3 a bottle instead of 99 cents. Your meat's up, a lot of your cereals, a lot of the shit that you're not supposed to buy goes up. Like fruit and veggies don't go up too much. My bananas are 59 cents. My avocados, I can still get them for like $1, $1.50. Most of my veggies, if my red leaf lettuce went up 50 cents, so it cost me $3 instead of $2, who cares? But go buy Cheerios or other Oreos or other products. Salad dressings have gone up. You go buy the other products and they've gone up a little. So it's costing you more to shop, meaning your dollar's not going as far as it used to. But if you notice, nobody tells you that. Nobody tells you what inflation is. Like I said, I saw that yesterday. Inflation is, looks like inflation's over. how the fuck can inflation be over? You've printed the money. It's worthless. It's still worthless. The money can't get value. This is the Ponzi scheme they're trying to pull on you. Oh no, inflation's all done. They don't even tell you what it is. They don't tell you that your 100 grand's worth 80. That's inflation. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you the value of the dollar's dropped. What do? They say, well, look how the dollar's strengthening against the euro. Big deal. What does that mean? Does it mean it's stronger? No, against the euro, but how is it against Starkist tuna? Is it stronger? No. Coca-Cola? No. So what the fuck are you talking about? So the part that they're Madoffing you on is that the 100 grand is not worth is worth very little, even though you get 4% on it. And where do they get it? They print the money to give to you in the interest, which is a Ponzi scheme. And eventually they're going to say, oh, we don't have, the money's worthless and your 100 grand is going to turn to zero. And that's where I step in going, but if you buy gold, attacking Wall Street guy, instead of real estate trust that went to zero, so there's a perfect fact of it going to zero. If you would take your 60 grand and buy gold, when all the bullshit happened in 08 and you lost all your money, it would have been worth 110,000 in 08, 09 when you needed the money. You couldn't have lost because it can't be printed. And this is the biggest Ponzi scheme they give you. This is at least Madoff gave you money, and the money you got didn't lose value because he didn't print it. But what JP Morgan does is virtually print the money. They print the money and the debt. They don't tell you about that. We're going to print $1 trillion. You have no idea that it just made your money worth a lot less. So you're clueless when they print money to pay the debt that the money that your 100 grand is now worth 90. Because they printed $1 trillion to pay the debt, you lost money. And I'm the only one who's going to connect the dots for you. Nobody else even comes close. They don't even realize it's paper gold. All these guys, the paper, they don't know. Look at the gold chart. It's paper. You can't chart a fixed item. It's like charting all these, it's like charting, Now you got Mason Rudolph playing. You want to chart Pittsburgh now? He's played in one game. Let's chart him. You can't chart the guy. You don't have enough data. So for this guy to chart paper gold is asinine. It shows you how little he knows if he's trying to chart it. He's trying to make a point, but his point's invalid because you can't chart something like paper derivative gold because the rules change. Now it's backed by if they print it, what is it? If they print the gold, if they do a derivative, they must have the gold to back it. Well, that's changed. So they can't do high derivatives anymore because they don't have the gold to do it. So as the gold, but as the Chinese and Russians come into the game, they want the higher gold price. As they want a gold-backed currency, they want and need a higher gold price. So gold comes into the game, and nobody knows what it is. Well, it doesn't give interest. There's no dividend on it. Well, it's not a stock. It's money. But the difference is your 100 grand in gold does not go down to 80 grand. It goes up to 120 grand. Your 100 grand in cash goes down to 80, 60, 40, 20. And right now it's at about 1,000. Your 100 grand from 1971 is worth $1,000 now. Right? Who's telling you that? Besides me, Egon. That's it. Egon says it's worth 99% has lost its value. Because they keep printing, and the more they print, the less it's worth, but nobody will tell you that. So you're all getting fucked because you don't know that simple concept of the paper money not being backed by anything will lose its value because the people in charge will keep printing because they don't understand. It's like a 5-year-old kid. He doesn't understand that if I print, it loses value. He doesn't get that. He's a Keynesian, if he's even that. Keynesians are communists. They believe in, printing and printing, and they want the government to run everything. They don't even believe in freedom or individual things, which is critical. So this is the lesson today, is understanding that when they print money, your money's worth less. You got 100 grand in the bank. This is why I tell you, don't keep money in the bank. The 100 grand in the bank is not worth the 100 grand anymore. So even though you think you got 100 grand and you think, oh, I'm going to retire on the 100 grand, you're not. So I'm the biggest source. I'm telling you, I took my 100 grand and it's in gold. You got the guy at the Toyota came to me. I got 100 grand, 75,000 in gold, 25,000 in silver. My friend at work brought in with a check of $100,000 check to my coin guy, and he got 50 some ounces of gold. That was it. So you're much better off in gold than dollars, because they can't print gold, but they do print dollars. But the gold that they use on the derivatives are inflating the paper gold price to lower it on purpose, because they don't want competition with the dollar. They want to control you, and I don't know why. They're not supposed to control us. So that's pisses me off in the first set. But if you understand what's going on, you will understand that that's not the way to go, and you'll realize it. But they won't. They'll Madoff you. So when everybody's crying at the end of Madoff, oh, I lost all my money, my life savings, and this, and Madoff went to jail. Is anybody going to go to jail when they fucked up the dollar and it's worthless? Oh, they'll blame Putin. And I saw something on the news. Oh, it's Putin. It's the war in Ukraine that we had to print, and that's why it's worthless. No, it's the guy who's printing the money, JP Morgan, and whoever in the government. I don't know if Biden's smart enough to print money or to even know what it does. He just takes payouts from China and Russia. China gives them $40 million. They can do whatever they want. So do not be lulled to sleep that your dollar is worth what you think it is, right? Every time they print to pay the debt, you're losing money. But you won't see it. And what you'll see is that 4%, 5% dividend in the bank. Some guy asked me, oh, you want to go in an annuity? It's 9%. And I laughed at him. I says, then I'm still in paper. I'm still in this. If I take my money from a bank account to an annuity, I'm still in this. I'm still losing value on this. It's still going to zero. If I'm in gold, it can't go to zero. It can only go up, and I have no risk. And believe me, this 2,100 that you see, or 2,060 price or value of gold, is not even anywhere near reality. Again, that's the derivatives. So they're printing, I'm going to sell 50,000 ounces of gold or 50,000 tons of gold, let's say. They don't have any of it. So they're selling it to Joe, who's buying it, and the price goes down because it's a sale. And so the price drops. It's all a rigged algorithm. What the fuck? How is this determining the price of gold? It's not. So the price of gold is much higher. The demand's much higher from all the central banks, Russia, China, and everybody else. And believe me, it's starting to get more and more people here are starting to understand it and get ounces. And again, I go to my store, and like I said, the guy had like 5 Krugerrands, where somebody came in with 5 Krugerrands, needed the money. I bought the Maple Leaf Dimes I showed you. That's my Christmas present to myself, and things like that. And that's basically, there's not a whole lot there. I mean, if somebody doesn't come in and sell him 5 Krugerrands, he doesn't have any. He can't get any silver. He ran out. He had to get these ugly silver things in. So I don't really see that. So basically, the demand for gold is huge because you can't print it. So think of an asset. So the Mahomes card, you can only have 50 of them, right? That's it. You can't have more because now, can you have 10 41s out of 50? I suppose so, but they'll have a very big lawsuit if I'm on eBay and I'm going through pristine youth movements, Patrick Mahomes 50 count, and I see two other 41s out of 50. I'm going to be a rich man because we're going to go to court. I'm going to sue them for misinforming. I'm believing there's only 50 in you, but you're doing 150s. You're doing 141s, so you can't do that. I don't think they do it because they would get sued up their ass and be out of business, and then nobody would ever buy their product again. But like I know Topps, they can't go and print Mantle cards back and print Mantle rookies anymore because they are all the plates have been destroyed for that reason, so they can't print anymore. Now, was there others that Topps had? Probably when they initially did it in 1952, the Mantle rookies. I'm sure they kept some in the room going, it's Mantle, but they can't print them now. But this is why you buy assets, because they have a value. You try to buy Rolexes and 50 count cards and gold and silver because they can't print anymore. If you buy cards, you want to buy cards that are either PSA 10s or numbered like that because they can't then print anymore. And the Montana rookie card's so expensive because the centering was so far off that it was very hard to get a very good centered card. I show you mine, it's a little bit 60-40. It could get a 10 because you could get a 60-40 10. Maybe on the Montana card, you could get it because it's so hard to get centered. So they know the hard cards to get centered, they're a little more lenient on, but 60-40 is PSA tenable. But gold you can't print anymore. It comes out of the ground. You can't counterfeit it. You can't fake it because it's obvious. It doesn't. You have to have gold to make the gold look gold. And if you're using copper or brass and you look at the gold coin, it won't look right. So you won't buy it. And then when they measure it and do everything, they're going to be able to tell it's not gold. And so you won't be able to sell it and you go to jail for counterfeiting. So there's no incentive to counterfeit gold. You just, there's nothing you can do. It's got to be gold to make it look gold. And that's the key to it. Hey, Prophet. Well, thank you, Prophet. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's Christmas. Nobody's working. Let's talk football. Let's talk gold a little bit. I'll be on a little bit more. I think 1 o'clock the games start. I got a roast to cook. Talked to Daria today and Jenna. They're fine. I fucked up on the passport for Daria. We got it in November. Well, we sent away for it in November, not realizing that we need to do the expedited passport, which only takes a few weeks. She still hasn't gotten it yet. And she says, if I don't get it tomorrow, I won't get it till the 9th. So we're like, okay, when's the next break? And that's like the end of February. So we're going to meet the end of February, which is fine. It's only 2 months away. Not a problem. So we'll do that. I said, we'll do Christmas. And then it's close to our birthday. She's February 25th. I'm March 7th. So we'll do birthday gifts then. And it'll be good. So I did get some Christmas wishes from some gals I haven't talked to in a while, which I was glad to get. And that's it. So the 3 football games today again. Kansas City 10.5, 40.5, 41. I got KC 20-3. Philly and the Giants. Philly 13.5, 42.5. I got Philly 45-7. And Baltimore Frisco. Frisco 46.5. I got Frisco 31-24 roughly. So I think that Baltimore scores. Frisco definitely scores in these type of games. Philly on a 3-game losing streak, they're going to murder them. And then KC Oakland. I'm expecting a 20-3 game. So I don't know. We don't need 3 games on Christmas. Then we get games the whole week on bowl games, which you don't even know who's playing and who tries. And I got a bad taste in my mouth bowls. Hey, I got a 3-team parlay to run by you. Kansas City under 42, Philly money line, and Frisco money line. Yeah, I mean, I like that one. Your only real risk is Frisco money line because it's Baltimore they're playing. I'd probably go over on the game versus money line. I think Frisco wins, but it's a little bit more, you're playing, you got to beat Baltimore, which they should. Like I said, that's the only kind of risk I see there. Maybe I go Frisco over versus Frisco, but I certainly think Frisco wins the game. Either or, whatever you feel more comfortable at. But anyway, so that's the thing with money and gold. Gold can't be printed, but they're conning everybody to believe you need an interest rate or a dividend. Look, you're not getting money for your retirement. In a stock, you get, 4% on Coke every quarter. And that's going to be used to pay your rent and everything. Or in a bank, in a CD, you got 100,000. You're going to get 4% every month. A part of 4% divided by 12 every month to pay your utilities and your rent. But when the dollar goes away to zero, what am I going to get? Oh, we won't talk about that. That's what I love on these investment shows or these retirement shows. When you need a stock that gives you a dividend. Well, how about if the stock market crashes? How about if the dollar goes to zero? Shouldn't I be better in gold? But you don't hear him talk about gold. Profit, it pays 163, which is a positive return. Well, because you're taking Philly minus 14 even, and so you're paying for that. And then if you play the Niners in a money line, you're taking 6 points away. That's why you might play the Niners in an over game where you won't get hurt on the 6. That would be my own thing. So what's killing you is Philly. You're taking 14 points off. I'd rather see you play. Well, what's the odds on a 3-team teaser? So let's do some math here. So you pay 100 to win a 163 on your 3-team teaser. So do a 3-team teaser. Go KC under, Philly and the Niners, or Philly over and the Niners over, and see what the payout is for that. Teasers, they're not that easy. They think, just you get the 6 points, I'm going to win them all. I had a conversation with some guy in Vegas, and I could go 100% with teasers. And I looked at him like, you think so, huh? That's a bunch of bullshit. One guy didn't like that I had teased, like I won on like Georgia. Oh, anybody can win on Georgia. Oh, is that easy? I said, how about when I won with Arkansas State? That shut him up. Can't just win. You want to bet Michigan? Go ahead. You think you're going to win with that against Alabama or vice versa? So you got to be careful. Teasers are not that easy. So again, back to money. They aren't telling you that your money isn't worth what it is. That's what inflation is. But they don't tell you that. They mislead you into believing it's prices. Oh, look, the prices have come down. Inflation's gone. No, inflation is still 20%. The inflation is your 100 grand's worth 80 grand. That's what inflation is, right? You lose money on your money. That's what inflation is. The simplest way anybody can explain it to you. Your 100,000 goes down to 80 with inflation. Period. And if you keep doing it, which is what they've done, then it goes down to 70, 60, 50, 40 until it goes to zero. And we're at your 100,000 is worth 1,000 right now that you had in 1971. So since the beginning, we have gold, your 100,000 is worth 100,000. We get off of gold in 71, your 100,000 now is worth 1,000. That's all it could buy from what it could buy in 71. That's what you need to understand, but that's what they'll never tell you. All right, so you basically get the same payout and you got much, much better odds. Although I'm not sure why KC's not 48 instead of 46. You're only getting 4 points. You lose 6 in Philly down to 8, and you lose 6. So why is the over-under only 4 point, not 6? But yeah, I mean, so look at the payout, right? Your odds are much better. Well, no, they're really not. Okay, I see. Yeah, because you're money lining it. So Philly, you're actually 8 points worse, and Frisco is the same. So Frisco, you don't need money line. You can do that. Okay, so it's Philly where instead of laying 0, you're laying 8. So then it brings back, you probably want to play the first one because you're gaining 4 points in the KC under, but you're picking up 8 in Philly and basically the same 6 in the Niner game. So yeah, in that case, I would take the first one. Oh, you bought 2 points for the parlay. Oh, okay. So you know the score is going to be 41. Yeah, I mean the first scenario is better because it's the same payout, but you're saving on Philadelphia, and the Frisco money line is the same, and then the 42 on KC. So yeah, in that case, that first bet's better because the pay's actually more for that. So it's a normal 3-team teaser is 160. I'd be playing a lot of 3-team teasers. So the Minnesota over with Detroit and then Dallas, plus the 7.5 I gave out. And what I would do is play it with Alabama. So what I would do, add Alabama to the 3 on both things, and let's see what the payout is. But you want Alabama in 7.5. All right, add Alabama to the 3-team 6-point teaser, make it a 4-team 6-point teaser. I bet it's 2 something. And since we already know Alabama in 7.5 should be good, that's a freebie, right? And that's what I'm looking at next week and the week after. Well, I guess next week is who do I play with Alabama? So like Buffalo, Miami, it's whoever with Alabama. I've already got 4 teasers with Alabama and the pros from last week and yesterday. It was like, oh, yeah, Minnesota over with Detroit. Yeah, and let's play with Alabama. Plus, I got Alabama anyway on New Year's Day already locked in with somebody else. But anyway, so this is the problem. You're looking at gold for dividends is not the way to look at gold. You look at gold because it can't lose value. So if in 71 I had 100,000 and I bought gold with it versus holding the money. So the money in 71 would be worth 1,000 now. The money on your gold, you probably paid $35 an ounce on it, right? It was $35 at 100,000. Good God, how many ounces did I buy? Well, let's do the math. So let's All right, so $100,000 at 35 an ounce buys you 28.58 ounces, and now it's worth $2,100 an ounce. Is worth $6 million. So let me repeat that. So in 1971, I got $100,000, and I want to buy gold with it because Nixon's taking us off the gold standard. So I know the dollar's going to shit because it only is worth something if you back it by gold and silver. So it's $35 an ounce for gold. I get 28.58 ounces. And now today it's roughly 2,100 an ounce is worth $6 million. I turned 100,000 into 6 million by buying gold, and it's still a paper gold, not a physical. If it goes to the normal $20,000 an ounce, I made like 60 million. It pays plus 260 adding Bama. That's a good thing. No, I was in Excel doing this math on the gold. You didn't lose me. So that's the value of gold that they don't tell you. Your $100,000 in 71 is worth $1,000. However, if you took it and bought gold in 71, and now it's today, and gold's roughly 2,100 an ounce, which is still paper. It's not real. The real price is, let's say, 20,000. You would be worth $6 million today in gold. And when gold gets priced at 20,000 instead of 2,100, add a zero, you're at $60 million. Not bad for $100,000 investment, or you could have done 10,000 investment because nobody had 100,000 back then. And that's the real key to understanding money. Back then, nobody, if you had like 100,000, you were real rich. Then it became millionaires, right? Then people were millionaires. Now people are billionaires. Look at all the billionaires we have. That shows you the value of the dollar dropping, because where are we getting all these billionaires from? Because the money's not worth anything. So now I have $1 billion of nothing versus $1 million of nothing. And because of the way it's printed, there's so much more billionaires in useless money than they had before. So if you're a billionaire, you're not, it's like you were a millionaire in the 80s. But it's in money, you're fucked anyway, because it really isn't worth anything. And that's where we end up, is the 100 grand in 1971 ends up at zero, right? It's down to 10,000 or 1,000, going down to zero. And that's when everybody's going to get Madoff and go, oh, I lost all my money, but I don't know who to blame. Here we could blame Madoff. There, who are you going to blame? JP Morgan, the government? You blame Nixon because he took us off the gold standard, but then you blame whoever because they never put us back on it. It's supposed to be temporary. So this is the key point, is they're not telling you that the dollar, the 100,000 is only worth 1,000 now. So you got 100,000 in the bank for 5 years and you think it's worth 100 grand. It's not. Bro, it's probably worth 70 grand, 60 grand. It's not worth what you think it is. That's what inflation is. It's killing the value of your money. That's what it is, not prices. Prices have nothing really to do with inflation. It's the effect that, well, wait a minute. If I want to buy, let's say, a Rolex for 100 grand, I got 100 grand in my bank. Now it's 5 years. Now, you know what? I want to go buy that $100,000 Rolex that I like. You can't afford it because it's not 100,000 anymore. It's 130,000 or 150,000. The price didn't go up. your dollars went down, so now you need more dollars to buy the Rolex. And that's where everybody's getting fucked because nobody knows it. Nobody understands it that way, that your 100 grand is not worth what it was. The money is losing value very fastly. So they go, oh, look, its prices. Coca-Cola went from $2 from $1.50 to $3. Oh, look at the inflation. Oh, Coca-Cola is back to $2. The inflation's over. First of all, Coca-Cola is still $2.99. I was at the grocery store for Christmas, and I looked at it, and it's still $2.99 a bottle. So it hasn't gone down. My meat's still $15 a pound, although they did have New York strips on sale for $9.99. My meat's holding about $5.99 a pound. My avocados are still $1.50. I mean, it seems like it's Oreos. It seems like it's cookies and chips. God, Fritos are like $5 a bag. I'm laughing. Like, thank God I don't eat them. So it seems like cereals and chips and cookies and crackers, the things that they eat a lot of, are what's really being inflated. And that's all being controlled by Nabisco and General Mills and, Tricks Are for Kids and all that shit. That's the inflators. So they take advantage of prices going up, and I wouldn't buy any of that shit. So fortunately, I don't buy that crap. I buy bananas and avocados and meat. So I don't really see the hurt as much as other people do. Eggs are still pretty cheap. My half and half's $3. That's probably went up a little bit, but that's what you got to understand. It's that 100 grand in the account is only worth 80 or 70. That's the problem. 12.55. So again, KC 20-3, Philly 45-7, the Niners 31-24. Let's look at the lines again. I'll get right back to our economics. So we've got KC 10.5, 40.5. We've got Philly 13.5, 42.5. And we've got the Niners 6.5, 47. And in our other weekly starting lineups, we've got KC's pretty much set. Mahomes, Pacheco, Rice, Watson, Kelsey. Oakland's got O'Connell. They got Zamir White in for Josh Jacobs. Devontae Adams, Myers, Renfro are the receivers. Giants and Philly, Danny DeVito, Barkley, Slayton Robinson, and Hyatt. Philly, Hurts, Swift, A.J. Brown, Smith. Everybody's there. Baltimore, the Niners. The Niners they got Ronnie Bell in instead of the other guy, Jennings, I think. But more importantly, Brock Purdy, McCaffrey, Samuel, Ayuk, and Kittle are playing. And Baltimore's got Lamar and Gus Edwards, Zay Flowers, questionable. Bateman and Beckham are there, and some likely the tight end. So pretty much, the only one you lost, Josh Jacobs for Oakland, and you got Danny DeVito still quarterbacking the Giants. He looks good, does he? Is he? He didn't look good against New Orleans. So now you think he's going to look good against Philly? If Philly doesn't blitz this guy, they're out of their minds. They should fire. How they got to Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator, how he's even coaching for the team blows my mind. And why you think this guy's any good blows my mind. He's not a good defensive coach. Belichick was the defensive coordinator, so that's Achilles' heel for Eagles is Matt Patricia. So you can probably get away with him this week, but when they play in the playoffs, a Dallas or a Niners, they're in big trouble. So that's it for the pros again. KC 20-3, the Eagles in a blowout 45-7, and the Niners 31-24 against Baltimore. Let's make Lamar look bad. So anyway, back to inflation. So the reason is gold, they kind of keep the price down by price fixing it, by printing derivatives. It's the only thing that happens there, because they want you to keep you in the dollar and keep you controlled, keep you in the stock market, keep you in the banks, because it's all a Ponzi scheme. That's what the problem is. So the government, instead of working for us, is working against us. That's the problem. And so we have to recognize that and understand that. DeVito is getting all the fan love since he's from North Jersey. Okay. That's the problem, right? So because the government's trying to control you, they don't want you in gold. They want you in dollars, and then they can control the dollars, and the banks can make all this money because the banks are the ones in charge of the government. So the banks are setting the rules. We're going to run these derivatives to keep the gold price down. We'll keep people on the Titanic. We won't explain what the dollar is and what gold is. We won't explain anything. We don't even want them to learn Austrian economics or anything about gold. We won't tell them the dollar's going down. We'll say, look, the dollar against the euro. We won't say, or against the Canadian dollar with profit here, but we won't say the dollar itself has no value. We won't say that, but it doesn't. And then one day you're going to wake up and your dollar is going to be worthless. Your bank's going to go out because the banks don't know what they're doing. The banks should all have gold, and gold should be used, and everybody would make a fortune. But the dollar, then you can't print the dollar. So they think it's better for them to print $1 million than it is to buy $1 million worth of gold. And they'll buy stocks with it, but they don't get it. It's all the dollars are being. So the best way to look at it is your 100 grand in dollars is now worth less. It's worth 50 grand, but they don't want to tell you that. And gold, I'll say, doesn't have a dividend. Who gives a fuck? I don't care. I'm not buying gold for the dividend. I'm buying gold because you can't inflate it. You can't print it. It won't lose its value in the free market. It only loses it in your bullshit paper market, not in the free market. That's why I get on this Jamie Oliver guy and Rick Rude and Mahoney and Andrew Seckenbecker. That's why I get on these guys. They're so clueless because they're all salesmen. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. And I don't want you to listen to them because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you guys get so gullible, you'll believe, not you guys, but that's what I fight when I am in the sauna or the hot tub or in the pool. And the guys will sit there and they'll, no, I don't have gold. I got oil stocks. And like, what do you know? Or the guy at Toyota is really pissing me off. Well, my wife was talking to the plumber and he buys gold, so we're going to buy gold now. We didn't believe you. And you're like, okay, I don't know what you need to do to listen to somebody. So you have to be best friends with somebody for anybody to have an opinion for you to listen to. You're not smart enough to reason it out going, yeah, he makes sense or he doesn't make sense. That's how I live. Does the guy make sense or not? And that's what you have to learn. So I try to make sense with my comments. But that's where you're at. So with that, I'm kind of inclined that all I can tell you is your money's losing value. And once you realize the money's lost its value, now what do? Now you're getting this huge opportunity. They're keeping the price of gold down. They're doing it to keep you in the dollar, but what they're mistakenly doing is allowing you to buy it. That's the key. You can go buy gold at $2,000 an ounce. That's clearly worth $20,000, if not more. And so if you realize that, as I explained to you, you'd be at six, if you took the 100 grand. So let's say you take 10 grand in 1971, which maybe you have, although that's a lot of money in 71. See, 10 grand's a lot of money in 71, and 10 grand's nothing in 2023. That's got to tell you everything you need to know. And then gold went from 35 to 21, and it's all paper. It's not a real price either, but it's still gone up, amazingly enough. But it'll go up much higher. It has to. It's not being printed. You can't print it, so it is what it is. It's dug out of the ground. They make it. That's it. It's all done. And the demand for it is huge. All the banks, all the central banks, Russia, China, they're all buying it. So as long as you have a demand, you have a market. As long as you have a market, you have a value. The more people that want it versus supply. So if there's 50 of these and there's 100 people that want it, the price goes up. If there's 20 people that want it, the price go down. But if there's 100 people that want a 50 count card, the price of the card goes up because 100 people will want it. So some guy will buy it, and then the 50 that don't get it want it. So they say, I'll give you more for it because I want the card. And that's what gold is. There's more people that want it. And when the banks buy it, when me and you guys buy it, I buy an ounce. I buy a half ounce. I bought 2 ounces. I had a big week. That's $4,000, right? But when the banks buy it, they buy tons. They buy the big James Bond Goldfinger bars. So they're going to buy a lot more supply from it, which will make the supply run out, and they'll pay more because when you realize it's for safety. I mean, when I go to the gold store now, I don't even care what the price is. Oh, you have a $2,000. I'm going to buy. I don't care what the price is. I want more gold. I want protection. You're buying protection. It is not an investment. I'm not buying it at 2,000. I bought some at 1,700 last year or 2 years ago. I'm not going to sell it at 2,100. That's not the point of buying it. I bought it to have. I bought it for protection. Why the hell do I want to sell it for this crap? This crap we know is going to zero. Your 100,000 is worth 80. Your 80 is worth 40. Now it's worth 10. Now it's worth 1,000. So I don't want to be in this game. I want to be in the gold game. So therefore, I'm buying gold at whatever price at this point that I can afford just to get more gold. I'm buying the gold. I give Jenna and I give Daria gold to protect them, to save them, because we all know that's the safe way. The money's, useless. So if we keep that and if we understand that concept and keep that intact, we realize that that's what you're doing. You can't lose on it, right? And if you realize that, you just want to own ounces and ounces and ounces, or if I'm a central bank, tons and tons and tons. So when I say Russia's got 32,000 tons roughly, or maybe 35,000, and they want to sell their oil for gold, they just want to get gold because they know the price will go up and can't go down. They don't want dollars because they know the value of the dollar has gone to virtually zero. So you don't really care what the price of gold is. You care about getting the gold. As long as I can get the gold, then I'm happy because I can't lose. It's like betting today. It's like betting Kansas City, laying 10, knowing even if they don't win by 10, I can't lose. I can't lose the bet. There's no way I can lose the bet because even if it loses, I don't pay. And that's gold. It can't lose. It can't go down. There's too much demand. And the way you're fucking around with the dollar, you're going to have nowhere to go. The dollar's all going to zero, all of them. The yen, the euro, the Swiss franc, the British pound. Why they're all this stupid? It's George Soros. He's a Nazi. He wants the world to suffer like it should have suffered after World War II, that Hitler should have won the war and he would have had dominance. That's what Soros is doing. So all the fucking governments are handpicked by Soros. He rigs the elections, and then he puts people in to print the money to zero, and the whole world collapses because they don't have any money. And people are finding it out, and that's why the central banks are buying gold. They're going, well, fuck, you're not going to fuck me over. I'm buying gold. And we figured it out, and we're buying gold because we want to survive, because it's the only way. I don't want 100 grand in cash. I had 100 grand in cash. What good does it do you? If the cash goes to zero, and I know it, that's what's happening. But if I have gold, they don't even know I have it, like the guy on Attack on Wall Street. He's got his 60,000 to call anybody. I know my gold's worth a lot more than it is. And I know that's the saving grace. That's how you survive, not in paper. So how do you explain it to people so they understand that the paper's worth less and less and less? That's what inflation is. It's you're inflating the supply of the paper. That's why raising interest rates has no effect. That's why on whatever Wall Street Journal week or whatever, they're saying, oh, I think inflation's done. I think it's all over with. What are you, out of your fucking mind? Inflation is not over. It can never end. It ends when it goes to zero because you keep printing it. Which Iraqi war? Saddam Hussein wanted to come up with a gold currency, and they killed him. Gaddafi wanted to come out with a gold currency. They killed him. I read something on Zimbabwe yesterday. I know they came out with gold coins, but apparently people are still with Zimbabwe inflated dollars are dying because they can't afford anything. So I thought they were buying gold, but I guess that's just the people who could afford it. So the rich are getting out of the Zimbabwe dollars into gold to save themselves, and the poor can't afford it, and all they profit. World War II was about Hitler stealing the gold from Europe. That's what World War II was. All right, it was a gold theft. 9/11 was about a gold robbery. They stole $1 billion of gold under the Federal Reserve, or one of the I think it was the first building that they destroyed, and they destroyed them. They were not hit by planes that caused them to go down. They were demolished like the Stardust in Vegas. You can see the puff of smokes, boom, 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 because those buildings would never have gone down. They were made not to collapse. Saddam wanted to switch to the euro as well. No, he wanted a gold-backed currency, and the U.S. understands the Ponzi scheme that you can't, because if you do, the U.S. won't survive it. The problem, that's why the Russia war with Ukraine is about Russia going on the gold standard. That's what it's about. That's what I now figured it out. They say NATO, but it was about that, and Russia said, fuck you. The war's over. Russia won by 100 points. And they will continue to come out with their gold-backed currency, and China is going to follow. And goodbye, U.S., and that's why you get the fuck out, because once you got Russia and China saying, we want gold, we've got it all, and we're going to start putting it out there. And you've already taken us to war, and we won. You didn't even show up. You just provided weapons for the Ukrainians. They didn't want to fight. I mean, it was the stupidest. It wasn't even a war. I don't know what it was. How do you not send troops over there and then say it was a war, and then they can blame the Ukrainians for losing? Well, we gave you tanks and planes and you lost. Russia won the war like 82-0, but they won't end it, unfortunately, because I want to go to Russia, but I can't until I can fly there. And I can't go to the Ukraine because they don't have fucking airports open. So it's a real motherfucker, this whole thing. Why couldn't I have girlfriends in Switzerland and in Amsterdam? It would have made it much, much easier. But anyway, that's, well, I don't know if he wanted to switch to the euro. He would have more likely wanted to go into gold, and they killed him for it. But that's what's happening now. The Russians and Saudis are selling their oil for gold, not for paper. And I don't blame them. If I have something of value, I want, my Canadian club, I don't want $100 for this bottle. I want, a tenth of an ounce of gold for it, or 4 ounces of silver for this bottle. I don't want paper. I want gold and silver. So that's why I'm always running, getting more gold and more silver. I don't want paper crap. But because I understand they're printing it to zero. Nobody else really understands what inflation is. It's not the cost going up. It's the dollar going to zero. Your 100 grand in your bank account is now worth 80 if you just put it in. If you've had it in for a while, it's worth about 20. Go buy what you could have bought in 71 or even 81. You can't. It's so much more expensive. It takes more dollars to buy the same. Look at Coca-Cola. I guarantee in 71, if you watch some show, a Coke was a dime, right? Now the same Coke is $3. Look at a 20-ounce Coke at the grocery store. It's like, what, $2.59? Believe me, the same Coke that Marty McFly opens up in 1955 was a dime. Well, the price of Coke didn't go up. The value of the dollar declined. So if that was me in 1955, I'd have been at this sports card store buying Mickey Mantle cards that were fresh, brand new, mint condition, and Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. That's how I would have went Back to the Future. I didn't need great sports almanac. I couldn't have bought gold back then because I don't think you could buy it until 71. I would have tried. And then I would have gotten all the baseball cards. I would have got Jim Brown, but he didn't come in until 59. Yeah, I don't know who the football would have been in 55, but I would have bought Mantle and Mays and Aaron and Clemente and Koufax rookie cards, and I'd have bought as many as I could have, and then I went back to 86 and I'd be a millionaire. I don't know why they made such a hard plot out of it. That's what I would have done. My girlfriend lives 10 minutes away, much more convenient. Yeah, it all depends on the girlfriend. This is a cod liver oil pill I recommend. I need water for it, though. So when I meet Jenna, I give her a bottle of fish oil or cod liver oil. That's what she asked for. That and gold. It's the perfect gifts. I don't know. I can't get into American Girls. They're just too weird. Or go forward in time one day, get all the final scores, and play a max 10-team parlay. Well, I've already won I showed you. I won my 11-team teaser and my 10-team teaser back when Florida State beat Auburn in the championship game, 5 years ago. So I've already done that, but I didn't bet as much as I should have. Well, I would think what you would do is you would buy stock. You'd see a stock now, you'd go back in time and buy Apple stock or something at $2 a share, and now it's worth this, and then you sell it. But there's a number of ways to do it. But I think maybe even buying gold, it would have been interesting. Well, you buy the gold in 71 at 35 an ounce, and now you're sitting on a fortune. Either way. But that's what you understand is the inflation is you're inflating the money supply. That's the term inflation. Not that means prices going up. It doesn't mean price. It means you're inflating something like a balloon. You're blowing it up, and that's what you're doing with the dollar. So you got to realize that's the best scenario I can come up with. You got 100,000. It's not worth 100 anymore. It's worth, it's worth 80. It's worth 60. It's not worth the 100. It can't buy what 100 could buy when you put it in. That's inflation. And so they charge more for the goods because the money is worth less. So they need to get the same amount of money for the bicycle or the Coca-Cola or whatever. That's what they're looking for. Problem is you can't, because people like the ribs, you can't get $45 for them. Even though the money's down in value, and really the 45 buys what the 25 do, but people look at the 45 and go, I can't afford the 45. So they'll only buy $25 worth. So that's really the key to it. But that's what you need to do. That's the biggest thing to understand. And I think I've explained it 5 different ways, but I really like this way of explaining it. So if you understand your money is not worth what it is in the bank, it's worth less, and that the government's made-offing you, you're in the bank, they're giving you 4%, but where are they getting the money? They're printing it. You don't care, it's the bank. And then when the bank says, oh, your money's worthless and I won't be giving you the 4%, then who are you going to cry to? So that's what you must understand. It's you're being Ponzi schemed. You're being Madoff, but you don't know it. But even when you're in Madoff and he's giving you 15%, a year, monthly for a year, did you ask where you're getting the money? No, you just got the money. That's what you're doing in the bank now. You got 100 grand in there and they're giving you 4% a month. Are you asking where you're getting the money from? No, you just care that they're giving you the money. So how is it any different than Madoff? Madoff gave you 15%. They're giving you 4 or 5%. You don't ask the question, where are you getting it from? Just give me my money. And if you're going to use that to retire and you don't understand inflation, you're so fucked. If you don't have gold for your retirement, you're fucked, because the value of the money is going to zero. So how are you going to retire with no money? I was at the Canadian Club and I didn't retire. They sold. So I went on to a new job, but when I hit 59, they gave me $300 a month in a severance, or not in a severance, in a like a 401k or a retirement account. So they said you can have 300 a month every month, or we'll do a payout of 25,000. I took the 25,000. 12 ounces of gold later, I've got the gold, which I much rather have than the 300 a month. Is not going to be worth anything with the inflation. The 25,000 is not going to be worth anything with the inflation unless I turn it into gold. And I thought, well, I can get 12 ounces of gold with it. I know I'm good there. And that's what I did. All that money is from new investors. Well, that's Madoff, isn't it? New investors are what paid you. If you're in Madoff, that's how you got paid. Madoff never made a trade. He would get money from somebody else. He would take that money and pay you, new investors. It's the same thing. It's the same Ponzi scheme. But when Madoff does it, it's one thing. When the bank does it, it's legal. It's great. I still want to see you break open that. Well, you're not going to see it because I'm not breaking it open. It's like you'll always see this on me. No matter what, I'll always have this because this is my master's. This is me getting my master's. So it'll never come off. I wanted the class ring. This was $500. The ring was $800. What the fuck? This is gold and that's not. And I got a master's in economics where you learned about gold being it. So my only regret is I didn't buy more gold. We started buying baseball cards, but if I get the 10s on the Montana and Rice rookie cards and Walter Payton rookie cards, then it'll make up for it. But yeah, just be careful. You do not want money in the bank. You want enough to pay your bills, but nothing long term. That all should be in gold and silver and not stocks and not ETFs, the physical stuff. Because if you keep it in a stock or an ETF, you're going to get Wall Street. You're going to get attacked on Wall Street. You're going to, oh, sorry, Mr. Jones, your money's worthless. Your value of that is zero. And you don't want to get that. And you won't get it if you're in gold or silver. That can never happen. Max Crosby at the Raiders D are looking very good so far. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at that. And please understand that that's the biggest concept. Your money in the bank's going down. You don't care about dividends to retire on because they won't have a value. That's the problem. They're inflating the money. So in a few years, it won't be worth anything or even closer. And as people realize it, they'll get out of it and they go, I don't want it. It's not worth anything. Should be doing now. But when I tell you to get off the Titanic and get under the lifeboat with your gold, that's what I'm telling you is you realize it's not worth anything. You realize the boat's sinking. So I use that as the boat sinking. So if you realize the boat hit the iceberg and is sinking, you're fucked, right? So you've got to get off the boat. So getting out of the dollar in the savings account or your stocks or your ETFs is getting off the boat, and then you get into the gold boat is your only hope. And I know a lot of guys are stealing my stuff and not giving me credit for it. Shame on them, but we know where it's coming from. That's why I got the videos to prove it. So keep that in mind. That's really the goal. Get the fuck off the boat. Get off the Titanic. Buy your gold. You can't lose. So I don't know what the hard part is. I mean, do you want to lose the 60,000 attack on Wall Street guy did? Then keep your money in the bank. I don't know what it is to trust. That's what they're doing. They're printing money. It's very obvious. Inflation will never go to zero. That's impossible. They keep printing money. They got to print to pay the debt. That's the only way they're coming up with $1 trillion to print. And you want to be in gold because gold cannot stay this low much longer. It's going to go through the roof because they're keeping the price down. Eventually, they won't be able to. And then the price flies. And once that happens, you're going to wish you're in gold. And you've got the deal of the century. That used to be a TV show where you can still get the gold at 2,000 an ounce. It's a joke. That's what you need. That's what makes time travel possible. So you've got to understand that concept. Once you get that concept, then you're gold. That's what you're looking for. It's what you're trying to get. You want answers. So to be stoic, you ask the question, why is gold 2,000 an ounce? And as you dig into it and say, who sets the price? And you see it's COMEX by JP Morgan in London, and they do these derivatives. It's not free market. Once you realize it's not like this is free market and gold isn't, then you say to yourself, well, will gold go free market, which is what it will do. Eventually, everything does. They can suppress it, but it's going to blow up. And once the dollar's worth nothing, how are they going to suppress it? So then the price of gold is not in dollars anymore because there's no dollars. The dollars are collapsing. Ask the Romans. It happens. Ask the Spanish, the French, and the English. It happens. They were all the leaders. They had the gold, and then they all went to zero because they went to war, and they lost all their money because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. What is the price for an ounce of gold right now? About 2060 is the spot price. If I went to my coin store and bought an ounce, depending if it was a US dollar, a Cougar, and a Maple Leaf, the US dollar would be like 21.50, and then the other Maple Leaf and Cougar would be like 2,100 roughly. But you can buy half ounces, quarter ounces, tenth of an ounces. So I showed you my Christmas gift is a 2/10 of an ounce gold, which was 237 an ounce for both of them. So it cost me $574 or $474. The best $474 I ever spent in my life. And the US ones were $250, but the Maple Leafs were $237. I said, what the fuck's the difference? It's 1/10 of an ounce. I'll buy the Maple Leaf because gold is not priced in country. So when I say let's say it's 2060 today and the market's closed today. Let's say COMEX is 2,060 an ounce. It's not in Maple Leafs or Cougarans or US. It's gold. And again, that price is phony. That is not the real price. So don't even think it is. However, you can buy gold at that price, which is it's amazing that people are this stupid. This is not the real price. It's 10 times more. It's 20,000 if it's anything for the real physical gold price, not the paper COMEX price. Why physical is priced at paper is beyond belief. These are the stupidest people I've ever met in my life. When I hear them on YouTube, it's like these people are idiots. And when I go into the gold stores, why are you selling physical gold at paper prices? They don't even understand there's physical and paper. What we need is a physical price. And that's what's been corrupted by the mafia here and in London, is to keep gold at a paper price where they can control the paper. Because they can't handle the competition. We can't handle gold. The euro can't compete with gold or the dollar or the Canadian dollar or the British pound can't compete with gold, and they want to. They're like little kids, and if you find out, they're going to take their ball home and not let you play with it. So that's what's That's what's going to happen. It's going to all of it's going to zero, and gold's going through the roof, but they don't want you to know or whatever. So it's really stupid. So I would have to buy from the Canadian Mint? No, not necessarily. Well, I don't know. I go to a jeweler who sells gold coins 5 miles from my house. So it's a jewelry store. I don't know how it is in Canada if you have to go to the Royal Bank of Canada to buy gold, or you can go to Joe's coin shop on the corner or the jewelry shop and buy it there. This I don't know. I know you're very socialist in Canada, and just like your liquor, you can only buy it from the Canadian Liquor Board or whatever. I don't know how you can buy gold there. I would imagine. Wouldn't coin shops jack up the price of gold? Well, there's a premium they charge, but they're trying to sell it. So it's just a commodity to them. Some guy brings it in and he buys it at spot. So if I brought in a 1 ounce American Eagle or Canadian, he would give me spot. He'd give me $2,060, but he's going to sell it at like $2,160, let's say. That's how he makes his money. Can he jack it up? No, because of competition. He could if he was the only guy in town, but there's 10 other coin stores and they're selling it at spot. So I can go to Ann Arbor and buy it for $2,150. So if he goes to $2,300, nobody's going to buy it from him. They'll all go to Ann Arbor. That's my point. I can go on eBay and try to sell it for $20,000, but I can't because all these other places are selling it at $2,130, $2,150. So competition stems that from happening. So if it's the Royal Bank of Canada that you have to buy it at and there's no competition, they could put a $200 premium on it. Again, you're buying it in Canadian dollars, which are 0.75 of the US dollars. So keep that in mind too. You might want to buy it in America. You might not. It might be better. I would run your options and say, is it cheaper to buy in Montreal or is it cheaper to buy in Buffalo? And then I would go from there and I would figure out. And if you have a lot of money, then I'd buy 10, 20 at once. I've done that. So now it's just, okay. I got $2,000. I can buy an ounce. Or you know what? I don't. And I bought 0.2 of an ounces because I had $500. And it's much better in gold than it is in dollars. So I know I'm trying to get out of dollars. So every time I can kind of afford it, because my brakes at the Toyota were, they wanted $1,280 and I got it for $400 with my Russian mechanic. So I'm celebrating. I just saved $800. I went out and bought some gold with it because I was going to have to buy brakes anyway. I needed brakes. So no, competition does not allow for the coin shop to jack up the price of gold because you're a good consumer. If you can buy, like Canadian Club, if I can buy this bottle for $40, you can't sell it for $100. Nobody's going to buy it from you for $100. They're going to buy it from me for $40. So that's the beauty of competition. And I want to make money. I need money. And in the coin business, they want to sell their inventory. So they buy it at spot, they mark it up 100, and that's what they sell it for. And that's called the premium, based on the other coin stores and the online, what they sell it for. But they're all screwed up because they're all looking at the paper gold price, thinking, well, this is what I should sell my physical at, is at the paper price, instead of creating their own physical price of $20,000-$30,000 and just ignoring COMEX, which is what should happen. But these guys are too fucking stupid to understand that. So if all of a sudden we came out with a physical price of $20,000 and all the stores then started selling it for $20,000, then that would be the new price. That would be the market. But because they look at the derivative price, the paper price, which is bullshit. That's what they sell it for. So we're going to take advantage of that because we're fuck. I can get $20,000 an ounce gold for $2,000. Okay, how much can I afford? And that's what I'm buying. So that's what. Well, that's the same thing with cars. Why doesn't Toyota sell their car for 100,000? They can't. Competition. That's the beauty of competition. It keeps prices not down but competitive, and it keeps the quality up. Because now I wanna sell it. I come out with 12-year and go compete with it, and I got to have a low price so people buy it. I can't sell this for $1,000 a bottle. Nobody will buy it. So I gotta be it. But I can say, look, it's 12-year, not 1-year Canadian Club, and then that would make you say, oh, it's a little bit more, but it's special bottle. It's 12 years, and that's more limited, and the taste must be better. It's 12 years, and off you go. They're selling a 2-ounce pure gold coin for $7,000. Well, who, and then is that U.S. or Canadian? So if they're selling a 2-ounce, that's $3,500 an ounce U.S., but you've got to convert it to U.S. So let's do this conversion. So if we go into Google, and then I got FX rates, right? And then I take off US Euro to US Canadian. So it costs $1.33 to buy $1 US. So we're going to change that into 7,000. So 7,000 is 5280 US. 5280 US is 2140 and that's exactly what it would be here, roughly 2140. Well, yeah, and that's probably for Canadian gold, right? So your Canadian is worth that in the US. So that's a good price. 2140 is a good price for an ounce of gold. If I buy from the US, will I have to pay any duty? I don't know. I'm not sure. There's not supposed to be tax on money, and this is money. So I would go and check. I don't know where you're going to buy it from. There's SD Bullion, which is online. They are a gold seller, and I would imagine you can buy it in Canada. And it would be close to this 5280 for 2 ounces, close enough. And so it's 2140, and I showed you my eBay yesterday. So if we look, I assume these are maple leafs, and it doesn't matter what gold you buy. Gold's gold. Excuse me. And there you go, Canadian 2147, right where it should be. And this is, if we go into this auction, Liberty Coin. So they're a coin dealer. 2147 free shipping. So I would go into eBay, and the question I'm going to ask the guy is, do you sell to Canada? So if the guy sells to Canada, I would just buy it on eBay. The 2147 is pretty close. It's free shipping. There's no tax, so there's free shipping. So that's how I would buy it, I believe. if you don't have, I would prefer to go to the coin store, give him the money, and then walk out with the gold in my hand. That's no stress on my thing. Because when you're waiting on shipping, now Liberty Coins should be fine. But if you're waiting, and be careful on eBay that it's a coin place, not some Joe Blow in Iraq selling you phony gold. Because once you get it, you're fucked. They have both Maple Leafs and Eagles. Well, the Eagles are going to be different prices than the Maple Leafs. I guarantee you that. So the Eagles 21.93, the Maple Leafs 21.47, and then the Cougar Ants 21.47 also. And here's another Maple Leaf or Eagle for 21.6. So there is a difference, at least on eBay, for the Eagles versus the Maple Leafs and Cougar Ants. That's simply because we're in the U.S. and the demand for the U.S. coin, people don't understand. You're buying gold to buy gold. You don't give a fuck. I always buy the Cougar Ants and Maple Leafs because they're cheaper. I do have some Eagles, but basically it's cheaper to buy the Cougar Ant. I buy the Cougar Ant or the Maple Leaf. So at the end of the day, when gold's way up, I don't care. I don't care if I lose $10 on a $50,000 ounce of gold that I paid $2,100 for. It doesn't matter, but I shouldn't. So a 2-ounce pure gold coin. I've never heard of that. What the hell is it? These are 1 ounce. These are all 1 ounce. There is no 2 ounce of these. These are made by the government. They all say 1 ounce of gold and this 999. If it doesn't say that, if you don't see this 1 ounce of gold, pure gold, don't buy it. You don't know what it is, and you can't sell it to me because I'm going to say, is it gold? And you're going to say, yeah. And I'm going to say, prove it. And you can't. This is all I'd buy is this, right? I don't buy anything else. There's no point in it. Why are you taking a risk? I hear people getting ripped off all the time. Why? What the hell are they doing? Anyway, Eagle 1 ounce goes for 40. No, that's not right. Oh, well, maybe it is 4,300. Let's see what that is. Doesn't sound right to me. Seems high. Yeah, that's not, I wouldn't, 4,300 is 3,200. That's not right. You want to pay, let's go 21.50. You don't want to pay more than 28.50 for US. Let's even go 2,200. So the most you want to pay is 2,900 for Canadian for a US, but you don't even want to buy US. You want to buy Canadian. It would be cheaper. It'd probably be what, 21.50. So it'd be 28.50 is what you should be paying Canadian for a US for a Canadian dollar. So I don't know where you're buying it from, but that price makes no sense unless it's one of these proof. You don't want proof or graded coins. It's not. You don't care about that. You care about is gold. You don't want the other. So anyway, keep that in mind. All right. So that's everything. I'll be on tomorrow for the college bowls this week, and I'll start going through the pros next week. But I got to wait to update my stats. So this is week 17. Jesus. So I've been pretty hot on the big games lately. I'm losing a little game once in a while, but mostly the big games. Like yesterday, Dallas was the big game, and it won. So I think that's it. Time to enjoy Christmas. Put up the ball game. My girls are in Europe, so I can't be with them for a while. But happy when I see them. I'm on the Royal Canadian Mint site. Well, go on a different site. Go on a SD Bullion or something. There's Liberty Coin. Or go on eBay. You see what the prices are there with free shipping. Just simply, I don't see why eBay can't ship it to Canada. That doesn't make sense. Normally, you can get stuff. I've gotten stuff from Japan and Hong Kong before on eBay. International shipping. Yeah, eBay's fine. I mean, look at the seller. He'll have positive feedback. So on eBay, eBay is really free market. It's much like Austrian economics. You rate yourself and then you go off of that. So on eBay, so you see Liberty Coin and it says 100% positive feedback. There's 428,000 feedback, and it's all positive. So 428,000 people have bought from this guy, and they've all liked it. So that would make you rest. Is yeah, he's safe. They've gotten it, because if it's not, if it's a scam, then they would tell you that, and that's what the feedback's for. So no, he's very honest. Even if you bought 3, it'd be $21.45 a piece. There's a Canadian version of eBay where you don't have to pay any duty. I'm not sure you pay duty here. Maybe you do. I'm not sure if you paid on gold. Again, being in the U.S., I've never paid, what do you call it? Tariffs. We call it tariffs. When I bought stuff from Japan, I don't think I paid tariffs, but maybe. But that's your target, like 2,800 Canadian dollars. That's what you should be paying. So just do the calculation, right? Go into that FX rate and type in, 21.50 US gives you 2,800, and that's what the prices should be. It should all come back to the US price of 21.50 or whatever. So anyway, I am going to relax. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will be back tomorrow. No pool today. It's closed. So I am home all day, I think. Might go to the grocery store just for a pop or dessert or something. But I got my pie, and I'll be fasting later in the week. And then we got New Year's, so I will be doing that. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas. I hope everybody's stay healthy and happy. Not too much sugar. Catching a cold. So not too much sugar and you'll be fine. Anyway, have a good day and just enjoy the football. All right. Take care. Merry Christmas, everybody.